Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's virtual lesson on strategic investment from procedure to routine. I'm Chris Angelica Quino, one of your instructors for this session. I hope that you're all ready to dive into some exciting learning about how to turn classroom procedures into effective, habitual routines that improve both student engagement and classroom management as well. And we all know that this comes from the book Teach Like a Champion. Okay, so let's take a closer look on the coverage of today's lesson. So we will explore how to turn classroom procedures into routines, and we will also take a closer look on these procedures and uh, how to actualize these procedures into routines. Okay, so that would be the key stages, which involves number the steps, followed by model and describe, pretend and practice, and the last one is transfer ownership. Okay, so hopefully by the end of the lessons, we will be able to understand the importance of routinizing procedures and identify and apply the four stages of turning procedures into routines and plan how to use strategies to reinforce and maintain routines in the classroom. Okay, but before we start, we need to understand why strategic investment from procedure to routine is very important. Okay, so these are just some of the reasons that, yeah, some of the reasons. The first one is maximizing efficiency. Okay, next one is creating a predictable and safe environment, meaning for the teacher, for the students. So we can, in this way, we can lessen the anxiety that they feel during these activities. Next one is building independence in their case. Of course, say, because you will try to put this procedures into habit, okay, something like that. It would turn into their second nature. Okay, and the last one is supporting higher order learning because we will be able to maximize their time and these procedures will not take much, maybe something like that of their valuable time. Okay, those things. And it would give more emphasis on the objectives of our lessons. Okay, so let's start. Okay, sorry about that one. As mentioned earlier, we have four procedures. So these are from procedure to routine. The first one there is number one, I should say, number the steps. Okay, so for example, you will name the steps. Okay, so for example, when I say stand up, okay, something like that, that is number one. Or maybe you can try, for example, number one is stand up and push in your chair. Step number two, turn to face the door. Number three is follow the line leader to the carpet, something like that. Okay, when I was observing, okay, one of my cooperating teacher did this one. So every time she groups the class, she will try to count. Okay, so meaning one, for the students to stand up, two, to go to their group mates, and number three, to settle down. Okay, it's just easy. Okay, so I hope we can try to visualize that one. Okay, next one is model and describe. So because sometimes simply telling students how to do something may not be enough. So teacher must also model the procedure and describe it. Okay, so for example, maybe of course if your students may be young, okay, they need to see some demonstrations, even for like high school students. So to avoid some confusions, of course, they must see it from us. So you do it like this, like that, and like that. So like you would be an actor on this part. Next one is number three, pretend in practice. Like, of course, before asking student to execute a procedure on their own, we need to provide pretend practice. Okay, so of course, after numbering it, after modeling and describing it, we also have to have like a sample, something like that. Okay, we need to have a practice for that one. Of course, so that they can also have the applications, and then they can easily memorize it as well. And last one is transfer ownership. Okay, what do we mean by this one? Of course, when students are comfortable with a routine, it's time to transfer ownership. This means gradually giving students more autonomy over the procedure. Okay, so slowly, maybe because slowly this would turn into habit. Okay, there might come a time that they won't need our instruction, right? Okay, something like that one. Maybe fourth grading, third grading. Okay, they won't already they won't wait for you. They for your instruction because they already know what to do. Okay, so let's have a recap of the one. Of course, number one, number the steps. What is number one? What is number two? Model and describe. Okay, do an acting. Next one is pretend in practice. Okay, more, how do I say this one? Actualization with the students, of course, and transfer ownership. This is a gradual process we need to remember. So with this type of method, it takes time. It takes patience. As the title say, investment. Okay, so you doesn't see the good thing or the benefit of this in the short term. You will just see this one on the long term. Okay, so that's it. All right, okay, so let's see. Okay, just give me, okay, so let's check if we understood something from this discussion. Okay, let's have a short quiz here. And by the way, you can pause the video, okay, to have more time to think about the answer. Okay, so the first question is, sorry about that one. What is the first step in turning a procedure into a routine? All right, if your answer is letter B, you are correct. Okay, next one. What is pretend practice and how does it help student master a procedure? Sorry about that part. If your answer is A, correct. It allows students to practice steps in a low stress environment and receive feedback for improvement. That's why this step is very necessary. Next one, number three. How does transferring ownership of a routine to students benefit the classroom environment? Take your time. If your answer is letter C, yes, you got it right. It fosters student independence, engagement, and responsibility. Next one. What should a teacher do if procedures slip or need to be reintroduced? Okay, maybe on some part of media or some part of, yeah, second sem, second grading, something like that. And if you think that the answer is letter B, you are correct. And yes, okay, so there you go. So I hope that we can evaluate our own selves. Let's review on the parts that we don't clearly understand. Okay, next one. So now for the challenge for you future teachers is to think about how you can invest in establishing certain procedures in your classroom in the future. Okay, so let's move on to the next one then. Let's have a recap of what we have learned today. Okay, so again, that is number the steps, model and describe, do it in practice, demonstrate, pretend in practice, give a chance for the students to do it themselves, and transfer ownership. Okay, like maybe you can also try to imply to them, okay, so I hope you guys learned that one. We don't need to discuss that one next time. And yeah, okay, hopefully it will work on their side. They will take ownership. Okay, so again, this technique it takes time. Uh, it's not uh it's not a method that can work uh, in the very first time because so we also need to expect that in the process they might also make mistakes and that's fine because it's part of learning. Okay, there you go. So let's have a review again of our takeaways. Students will be able to focus on learning. Okay, we will focus more on the valuable things. You'll create an environment of independence and responsibility. Okay, they will be like have more ownership. Oh, this is my responsibility, something like that. And the more strategically you invest time in teaching and reinforcing procedures, the more smoothly your classroom will run. Okay, why is that? Because we already have established practice. Okay, and the last one is of course teachers keep practicing, reinforcing, and empowering your students to take ownership. Okay, so there you go. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you, in the future, you can also try to use this one, utilize this one for your purposes. Have a good one, and bye bye.